Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Sunday to hopefully give you some new meal ideas and motivate you to cook more for your family. This week we did some easy recipes that we've made over and over again, and then I also made 3 sheet pan meals this week where I wasn't really following a recipe. I was just kind of winging it and they all turned out really good, so I'm excited to share those with you. Let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. So first up for Friday night, we had Tuna Melts. This was supposed to be Lily's birthday dinner. She picked it, but then we didn't really end up eating a big dinner since we had a late lunch. So I made it the next day, and I just take 2 to 3 cans of tuna usually. This night I did 2 cans because Andy wasn't home yet, and I made his fresh when he got home. So 2 cans of tuna, and then some mayo and mustard, salt and pepper, and then a little bit of this garlic and herb seasoning, and then mix that up really well, and then I'm going to put it on our bread and then put it in the toaster oven with some cheese on top. The kids like to do theirs as a sandwich, and I like to do mine as like an open face sandwich. So here I've got 4 pieces of sourdough. 2 of them I'm going to put the tuna on with the cheese on top. The other 2 I'm going to leave plain and just let them toast. And then once the cheese and the tuna is hot, then I will close it up and they will have their little tuna melt sandwiches. And then you'll see mine here in just a second. I've got it open faced and just cheese on top. Make it the same way, just don't put a piece of bread on top. That's how Andy originally made it for me when we had tuna melts for the first time. And that's just how I prefer to have it. And then to go with this, we had some fresh veggies and some chips on the side. Saturday night, I was just winging it, making a chicken and veggie sheet pan dinner. I just really wanted some chicken and veggies and make it really simply. So I got some peppers. I'm slicing up a bell pepper really thinly, and then I'm also going to slice up an onion, half of an onion, and just slice them pretty thin so that they cook pretty fast and evenly. And then I'm also going to take some chicken breast and cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And as I'm cutting all of this, I'm adding it to a bowl. Then to that bowl of chicken and veggies, I'm going to add in some olive oil, an Italian dressing seasoning packet, some salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika, and then I'm just going to toss that really well to make sure everything gets coated nicely. Then I'm going to transfer my chicken and veggies to a sheet pan that I've lined with foil for easy cleanup. Then I bake this in the oven on 425 for about 25 minutes, and then after the 25 minutes I took it out, tossed the chicken and veggies around, and then I added on 1 pint of grape tomatoes and tossed those in as well. And then I put this back in the oven on 425 for 5 to 10 minutes so that those tomatoes could get soft. And then once it came out of the oven, I went through and poked all the tomatoes, kind of popped them so the juices could be released. It kind of created a little sauce on this. And then I topped everything with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. To serve this up, we had it on top of some couscous, and then I put some more fresh Parmesan cheese on top. This turned out delicious. It could have been a little bit more saucy, but overall we all loved it, and I will definitely make it again. For a meal that I just winged and threw stuff together, it turned out great. Sunday night we just had spaghetti. This is some ground beef, Aldi marinara sauce, regular spaghetti noodles, some Parmesan cheese on top, and then to go with it we had these cheese stuffed breadsticks that I picked up at Aldi. This is the second time we've had them, and they are really good. Monday night I made this sheet pan shrimp boil. Now the recipe that I had looked at wanted you to take your potatoes and like parboil them on the stove, and I didn't want to dirty more dishes. So instead I'm going to be roasting my potatoes first and then adding everything else on the sheet pan. That way I really only dirty one sheet pan. So here I have some russet potatoes that I'm cutting up into like pretty big chunks. The recipes that I saw wanted you to use like gold potatoes or like little red potatoes, but I was trying to use up the potatoes that I already had on hand. That's why I chose to use these. So once I got them cut up, and then I seasoned them with some Old Bay seasoning and a little bit of salt and pepper, and tossed them with some olive oil, and then I got them on the sheet pan, put them in the oven on 425 for about 25 minutes. While those are baking, I got everything else together. I'm starting off by peeling and chopping up some garlic. I'm gonna mince it up pretty well, and I did probably like 5 cloves. It's hard to count because I was mashing them. And then I got those added to that same bowl where I seasoned the potatoes. Then I'm slicing up a smoked sausage, and then I'm going to clean up a couple ears of corn and cut those into 3 pieces each. Get those in the bowl as well. Once I had everything in the bowl, I'm also going to add in a 12-ounce bag of medium-size shrimp, and then 1 melted stick of butter, probably about a tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning, and some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to toss that around, try to get everything coated really well. And then when the potatoes came out of the oven, I just made sure that they were like mostly fork tender, on their way to being close to done. And then I tossed on that mixture that I had of the shrimp and sausage and corn and garlic, spread that out over the pan, and then I put this back in the oven on 425 for another 15 minutes. And here's what it looked like when it came out. It smelled so good, buttery and like Old Bay seasoning, and it was really tasty. I mean, I've never had a true shrimp boil. I'm sure a true shrimp boil is like way better, but this was really good and it was really easy to do. And I just made some biscuits on the side. Tuesday night we pretty much had copycat Chick-Fil-A. I picked up the red bag chicken from Aldi and I cooked that up in the air fryer. And then I also got some brioche buns from Aldi and a bag of waffle fries from Aldi. I cooked the waffle fries in the oven while the chicken was cooking in the air fryer. And then we had some, like copycat Chick-Fil-A sauce. This is, I think, the one from Walmart. And it tastes like pretty much just like Chick-Fil-A sauce. And this was like way cheaper than going to Chick-fil-A, and it's always delicious. Wednesday night we made our other sheet pan meal. This is sheet pan steak fajitas. So again, I'm starting off by slicing up some bell peppers. I did 2 this time, a yellow one and a red one. And I'm just going to slice them thinly, and then I sliced up another half of an onion, and make sure you like pull them apart so that everything can get seasoned. You kind of want to separate those onions. And then I am going in with some steak. I'm just using a London broil that I picked up from Aldi. I threw this in the freezer like 30 minutes before I was going to be slicing it, because when it's like semi-frozen, it makes it like really easy to slice thinly. So that's just a little tip. My dad used to do that all the time when he made beef jerky, and it really does help slice it thinly. So then I'm gonna slice up all this steak really thinly, get that in the bowl, and then once all that's in the bowl, I'm going to drizzle on some olive oil, and then I'm gonna season this with a sazon packet, and then some adobo and some cumin, and that's it. And then make sure you mix it around really well and get everything really coated. And then this is going to go on the sheet pan in the oven on 425 for about 20 minutes. We used some flour tortillas for our steak fajitas. Everybody had steak and onions and peppers. Everybody's really been liking the cooked peppers this week. I don't know what it was, but they loved them. We had some lettuce for those of us that like lettuce, salsa, cheese, you know, the usual toppings that you would put on tacos. And then I made a box of Spanish rice and heated up a can of refried beans to go with this as well. Thursday, the last night of the week, we had pulled pork pizza, barbecue pulled pork pizza. This is one of my favorite ways to use leftover pulled pork in the freezer. So I made that on the artisan flatbreads from Aldi with some of the Kansas City style barbecue sauce, the pulled pork, and then some cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. You bake it in the oven on like 425 for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we served it up with some salad and fresh veggies for those of us that don't like salad. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing these 3 sheet pan meals, and I hope it gave you some new ideas. If you plan on trying any of the recipes, let me know in the comments down below, and make sure you leave me a smiley face emoji down there to let me know you made it here all the way to the end as well. I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend and a great upcoming week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!